Welcome back to the Holy Land Uncovered. The city of Safed sits perched on a hilltop nearly 3,000 feet high in Israel's Galilee. Jews fleeing Spain in the 16th century first turned it into a center for the study of Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism. Today it continues to be a spiritual center with Jewish religious schools and an inspiration for artists who set up a community there. With a number of famous Jewish rabbis buried nearby, Safed also draws Jews who have the custom of praying at their graves for miracles. Uri Shapira takes us to some of those sites, including Amuka.
Valentine's Day is the perfect time to go on a tour of the tombs of the righteous in the Galilee district of northern Israel. An old Jewish tradition says that some of these graves can make your deepest wishes come true.
We see that from the Middle Ages, from the 12th, 13th century, pilgrims that come here, Jewish pilgrims that come to the Holy Land, they take a tour guide and they go around and go from tomb to tomb, from holy site to holy site, and that was their pilgrimage. Of course, they also go to the tombs of the patriarchs in Hebron, and they go to Nablus, and they go to Jerusalem, but also to all these small tombs up in the Galilee. In the last 50 years, this has become a phenomenon. We have more and more of these tombs that are being discovered, and you have really hundreds of thousands of people who go to these tombs, and it's something very, very big that's happening in Israel today.
The first Jewish tomb in the Holy Land with a record of Jewish pilgrimage belongs to Rabbi Joseph the Galilean, a Jewish sage from the 2nd century CE, a prominent Jewish scholar who worked alongside Jewish moguls such as Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Tarfon in the city of Yavne.
He would debate them, and he would say what he feels and what he thinks, and he became a pretty big rabbi back in the days. One of his greatest debates was around the question of kosher rules. We know that today in Judaism, you're not allowed to eat milk products with meat products, and Rabbi Yossi Haglili, he tried to change that, and he tried to convince people that chicken, for example, is not considered meat. And you could actually eat chicken together with milk products. At the end of the day, we do not go by his way, but this is something that he suggested. One of his most important lessons is that he would tell his students and his rabbis that they should be very careful with what they say.
On this green hill of Amuka, near the northern city of Safed and close to the Sea of Galilee, lies the grave of Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel.
Traditionally, Yonatan ben Uziel is the one who translated the Bible from Hebrew into Aramaic. And Aramaic was a popular language, it was a local language back then. And after he translates it, there's a voice that comes from heaven and says, "Who dares to translate the Holy Bible from the holy language of Hebrew into Aramaic?" And Yonatan ben Uziel raises his hands and says, "I did it." And he explains, "I didn't do it for myself, for my pleasure. I did it to prevent arguments in the future."
In recent years, Jewish singles who wish to get married come to this grave and ask for a miracle.
The first thing you do is you give charity. After you give charity, you go into the tomb, which is separated between men and women. Inside the tomb, there's a tradition that you walk around the tomb 7 times, and at the 7th time, you take a note. You write down on your note what your request is. You leave the note in a specific place. And later on, you take some sort of a piece of fabric or something that belongs to you, and you tie it onto the tomb, sort of leaving something from yourself in this place. On the note, people ask for to find a good husband or a good wife. Many times on the note, people would also write a phone number.
Our next stop is the tomb of Rabbi Tarfon in the small village of Kedita. Rabbi Tarfon was a member of the 3rd generation of the Mishnah sages who worked in the Holy Land during the Roman era. He's also associated with the 10 martyrs who were executed by the Romans.
One of his most famous sayings is, it is not incumbent upon you to finish the task, but neither are you free to absolve yourself from it. Meaning, if you see something bad in the world or in your neighborhood, it doesn't mean that you're in charge of it. It doesn't mean that it's your fault, but you're still not free to absolve yourself from it. You still have to do whatever you can to make the situation better. And this was later on translated into a very big concept in the Jewish world that we call tikkun olam, that each and every one of us has the power to make this world a better place.
Rabbi Tavfon's tomb is located on a beautiful hilltop in the Galilee. A tree rises from the tomb, perhaps another reason to make it an inspiration for pilgrimage.
Many times when you go to holy sites and to holy tombs here in the Galilee, you would find that right by the ancient tomb, you would find an ancient, impressive tree, like the tree that we see here behind me. And, you ask yourself, who was here first? Right? Was the tree protected here because it's right by the tomb of Rabbi Tavfon? Or was Rabbi Tavfon buried here because there's a very holy and impressive tree planted over here? In this tomb over here, you could really see that the tree literally comes out of the tomb itself. And there's a tradition that in this case, the spirit of the holy rabbi is still alive within the branches of the tree.
21st century technology has given many love seekers opportunities to find their significant other. Even so, many still prefer to visit these holy graves and ask for a good match, a tradition which is hard to break.